Warrick Dunn, Charlie Ward, Peter Warrick, E.J. Green. These are the types of former great players at Florida State that should be involved in every major Florida State decision moving forward.
You are Locked On Seminoles, your daily podcast on the Florida State Seminoles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back into Locked On Seminoles. I am your host, Brian Smith, longtime college football recruiting analyst. Thank you for making Locked On Seminoles your first listen each and every day right here on the nation's #1 sports podcasting network, Locked On. And thank you very much to all the fans that have helped everybody, myself included, here at Locked On get better and better and grow exponentially. It has been a blast. We are brought to you today by our friends over at 5 Hour Energy. Have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cake flavor is back. No fork needed. Vanilla cake flavor, caffeinated kick, and no sugar. It's party time. Order now at 5 Hour Energy or Amazon. Let's talk about two things today. We're going to have a little bit of fun with the mailbag. There are a vastly different set of opinions about not only what's going on with the fundraising, but in a certain area that you're very familiar with, Norvell, etc. I have some funny comments to share a little later on in the show. But the first thing, we'll do a shortened show today, is one that I think is not just a good topic, but one that I think a lot of schools do. They don't necessarily promote this because they don't want to make it obvious that they're looking for outside help. They want selective help. Really, that's probably the better way for me to put it. I think that the elites at any school, it could be Texas, it could be Ohio State, anywhere, should have their all-time greats chime in, coaching hires, all that. And I'm sure to a certain degree they are, but I'm taking this to the next level. So if you take nothing else from this, I'm talking about a committee of players that earned it. They went to Florida State. They still come around. They support the players that are there. They help the guys trying to transition from FSU to the NFL or go into the job market. Any way they can help FSU, those are the players that should be involved. They don't always have to be a guy that's got their name in the rafters or made an All-American team. It can be somebody that just played at FSU, graduated, etc. They need to be involved too. But if Charlie Ward, for those of you that have been around him, you know what I'm talking about here. If Charlie Ward says something, he's a pretty genuine guy. I don't know him, but I've been around him and I've seen what it's like. That's the kind of person you want to gain knowledge from. Peter Warrick, Warrick Dunn, Danny Cannell. There are numerous guys on my list. I put a whole bunch of people. E.J. Green was one of my favorite players at Florida State back in the day. There's all kinds of them. But here's why I bring it up, and I want everybody's opinion. Please comment down below, YouTube, etc. If you have people that are invested in the program, their name is written in the annals of the school. When they give an opinion, it's not just hot air. They have permanent residence at Florida State University. Graduates, All-Americans, national title winners, all conference, and just teammates. Those people are going to be able to help. So why not, and again, I don't know why more schools don't do this, have a committee that is definitively public. If it's private, that doesn't count. Yes, it needs to be public that this is the group that's involved. Not just the AD calling somebody once in a while like Warrick Dunn or something. I'm sure Warrick gets phone calls from FSU. I get it. But they sit down every time, not just football. It could be basketball players, etc. too. They need to collectively talk about stadium renovations, how to go about donations, and, of course, the one that everybody talks about year-round at any part of the state of Florida, no matter the school, head coach fired, coordinator fired, etc. What are the ramifications? Who should we go after and why? They need to be involved more. I'm not saying this because Florida State's down right now. Even if they were up, if they were a top 3 program right now, I still think it would yield better results because every time you bond with your former players, it's a bridge to the alumni, to the fans that love those players and continue to do so to this day. I don't see how it would not. And the reason I bring it up as something that needs to be public is so that you show, again, to the fan base, alumni, everybody. We are trying to connect with everybody. Isn't just a group, the BOT, the athletic director, the assistant athletic directors, the president of the university. And again, it's not just Florida State. Every school should do this. We have players 1 through 20 or whatever, men's, women's sport, all collectively trying to help us understand the best ways to fundraise, to reach fans, to get revenue back up to the best place it can be, and to make game day experiences better, not just recruiting, not just the coach. That's the low-hanging fruit. That those conversations will always happen. And again, I know those phone calls, they're never going to admit it, but a lot of ADs make those calls. And I've talked to coaches about this before. When they talk to former greats, some of that conversation comes into play. And they'll ask them for money. Hey, you played in the NFL 8 years. Could you sign off on $2 million? Those conversations happen too. Again, low-hanging fruit. But their advice on how they spend their money, how they can help the program with the players that are there, to motivate them to come work out with the players, to give them advice about off the field and dealing with agents, NIL. Why doesn't really every school have something like this that they're publicly promoting? This silent stuff, or just we have this guy around once in a while. That every school has guys on the sidelines for games, spring games, and practices. But when you connect them to the fans, and again, this just use it from a standpoint of what's going on here recently at Florida State, the fundraising obviously isn't where it needs to be. That's not a news flash. The more you connect great players, like if Warrick Dunn, let's say he stops into Tallahassee for 3 days, late spring after spring ball or something, there's not much going on. If you want people to come back to campus, you're always trying to get the big boosters on campus, every school. Warrick Dunn's there, it's a little more likely that people are going to stop by. It's a little more likely, even if it's via Zoom or whatever, have a chance to speak with these people, learn about what they've done since football. You name it. And the players are going to like it too. I don't see how that wouldn't be a good idea to promote that kind of stuff. And for the 10th time, I'm not trying to pick on FSU. This is something that I think Wisconsin should do this. Virginia Tech should do this. UCLA should do this. Anybody that has a great player at any time frame, it doesn't even have to be football. It could be any sport. You should do that to help promote. But as it relates to Florida State football, since they're down, this would be the perfect opportunity. Give or take 20 guys as a rotating committee. For maybe 2 years you're on, you get more of a say. Guys go on the list, go off the list. Always keep them involved in stuff that goes on. And they can then deliberately, again, this is very, very important, not just privately. Once they get the info, they can then send it out to the masses, at least in some part. There might be some things that you don't. I understand that. But the more fans feel connected, the more likely they are to donate. And yes, the following is directly to the people, and I know they watch. I know they have people that listen and report up the ladder. They can say they don't, but every podcast, every site, you know that based on the Board of Trustees, Mr. Collins talking about this the other day, complaining about the media and stuff. He selectively chose things, by the way, to talk about and didn't mention how they goofed up other areas. But that's another point. You all need to find a way to make people happy, because right now they do not like you guys. I don't know one fan right now, like personally, that is happy with Florida State's athletic department. Not one. Here's a bridge you can make. And every media member would, I guarantee you, war chant, Knowles 24/7, plant the spear. I don't care which one. I don't care if it's fan side. I don't care if it's national, the Osceola. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They want to see those people around the program too. But you have to do it in conjunction with public, meaning the information that you give them, some of that has to go out, not just scraps either. Like the press conferences, no offense to Mike Norvell, but his press conferences are awful. He gives nothing. They're absolutely terrible. That's why nobody really talks about them very much. So if you want to improve, you have to give out the info, and it's going to help the kids that are in the program become men. Yeah, I wouldn't want work done around my kid. I guarantee it. Whether he's just a regular student at Florida State, an athlete, a trainer, a young person who's working at the institution, you darn right, and anybody else. So I hope Florida State, maybe they can set a precedent to not just have players around, but they can also communicate with the masses and possibly promote some things and get donations going back again. If Warrick Dunn and those kind of Charlie Ward, those kind of guys can't get it done, then it's not going to happen. At least you gave it your best shot. Just saying. When we come back, I have some mailbag, some interesting comments. Some of them are pretty funny. That is next, right here on Locked On Seminoles. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy. Welcome to the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft. 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, or Cotton Candy. There is absolutely something for everybody, no matter what you like. Board set, the flavors are ready in it. I've got my personal number one pick for the 5 Hour Energy Draft. You can pick your flavors in any way you want, describe anything that you want to get out of it, and just going through the list, it's pretty impressive. They've got a little bit of everything. I'm a blue raspberry guy because I've always liked that flavor since I was a kid. Snow cones or anything like that. I'm a big fan of some of the traditionals like cherry, grape, but I also think that like cotton candy is a pretty interesting one. I kind of like vanilla as a flavor, and it's got sugary fruit kind of flavor to it, but it's got some vanilla in it. Another one that I think is pretty good is peach mango. That's kind of an old school one that I like as well. Not quite as much as blue raspberry. It's still my number one. So make sure you check out all the opportunities and find your new favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy shots, available online at 5hourenergy.com or over at Amazon. We are also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. The biggest stretch of the college basketball season is here. Oh, yes. Buzzer beaters, bracket busters, and those unforgettable moments that everyone's talking about the next day. But being there live at a college basketball game, I've been to a couple this year. It is a blast. There's nothing quite like it. And it's a bucket list thing. Like I went to Rupp Arena to check out a game. Just going to different places, seeing games live is awesome. But checking out those tickets, getting them on some of these apps is not. The queues, the crazy prices, the fees, they're not fun at all. That's why Game Time delivers, and it's why I went back to Game Time for my second purchase. You can get your tickets in under 5 minutes. You can see your seat from your phone. You click on the ticket you're interested in. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Check the seat view. If it's not good enough, try another one. They have zone deals, so within an area, you get a price. They pick out the seat within there, and it's a great price. There are all kinds of great offers. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Make sure you check out the Everydayer Club if you have not already. It's the best deal going we've got here on Locked On. $5 a month or $50 for the entire year. Your audio podcast, whether it's Spotify, Apple, Podbean, Amazon, whatever place you get your pods on the go, 0 ads, $5 a month or $50 a year. And there is a Discord. Check out the description down below for more details. All right, it's mailbag time, and there's always some good comments. Today was no different. This is from the last few days, and there's some randomness to it. There are some very opinionated people. I skipped even over some, I'll be honest. But here we go. Just going to have a little fun with this, and no particular order in general. First one I got is from Andre Bugs. I don't know what he wants to do, but I do know what he needs to do is live practice, no green jerseys. Talking about Norvell, I did a podcast a few days ago talking about there's a lot of strong rumors that Norvell's not going to show anything in spring. Fair enough. But Andre is basically saying, regardless of what's allowed in terms of media coverage, they need to hit more, be more physical, be a trench team again. Florida State was terrible at times last year at stopping the run or stopping the defense they're going against from getting after the quarterback. There were just too many things like that. It wasn't enough physicality. I agree with Andre. Jar Jar Bunky 0098. What does Mike have to hide? If he is really calling the offense, there is nothing to hide. Everyone knows he runs counter. I understand why he did everything last year, so he could surprise Bama and maybe squeak out a win. I think that's kind of funny. Like, Jar Jar obviously thinks that we're talking about Florida State runs nothing but counter, but I don't necessarily agree. But Mike did run it quite a bit a few years ago. Robert, 2 years of Mr. Jones in this defense should definitely raise the play. The linebacker room, go Noles. Yeah, I'm very excited about Chris Jones. His his press conference was impressive. He's a guy that's produced, like when he was at Southern Miss, especially this last year. I don't care what level you play. If you have over 100 tackles in a year, you're a pretty good player. And he's a guy that did it consistently. He enjoys the physicality. You can tell this by the way he looked at his shirt. He's put in the time in the weight room. I am definitely excited for Mr. Jones. All right. Alan Dullivan. Yes, sir. Him and Chandler are the DBs. Love the attitude of the young men. Go Noles. Yeah, Crutchfield is the other DB that he's talking about. There are only so many guys I would have imagined. I don't know how many Florida State will put out there, but there are only so many DBs, receivers, quarterbacks, whatever you're going to put out there that you're really comfortable with early. And I got to know Jordan Crutchfield a little bit. He was the guy he's talking about. I was impressed with him, and I'd met him before. He's easygoing. He's a pretty good speaker and all that. But he seemed to have kind of researched it well. He knew what was coming, and he was ready for the questions. Good for him. Champs 998. Been a booster since 93 and will remain one going forward. Doesn't matter who the coach is. I support my school. Okay, that's one perspective. Now remember, this guy's all in. Here's the very next post. Kale Rocks. Every penny donated, every game attended, every bit of merch bought is a vote for Norvell and offered to stay. If we want this to end, we must give them nothing. And nothing is in all caps. So you see from one post to the next, violent change. One person is all in, one person is all out. Florida State right now is a very unique scenario. Tommy Guns, what's going on, man? Give them bread and circuses and they will never revolt. Fun times ahead. I don't know who said that line. I'm sure that's from a movie or something. And I have no idea what it means, but it's hilarious. Jeff D. 8356. You know things are bad at Florida State when they're talking about basketball and softball. That remark is in regards to me discussing the opportunity for donations. And there's some really good coaches at Florida State that have nothing to do with football. And why not go on the fundraising trail or help supplement what Mike would have done since they're not going to do the tour? There are a lot of ways you can fundraise. You don't even have to go on a tour. But the point that he just brought up, hey, if we're talking about basketball or softball, it's bad. I just want to remind people, even if Florida State's up, you should support the other sports at Florida State University. Just saying. Baseball's been consistent for a long time. They've had good softball. They won 2018 softball won the national championship. There are a lot of reasons to give FSU money, and it's not just football. I'm just saying. But anyway, just wanted to just kind of go over that and have a little bit of fun with the mailbag. I will be gone this weekend. Won't be any pods unless I'll have some shorts probably. I'm going to be with Coastline 7-on-7. Jamarin, obviously a Florida State priority. Several guys obviously on that squad. Valladay just got offered by Florida State. He's one of our corners. Lots of talent. I'll have a few updates on Monday, Tuesday. I may have a show Monday morning. I may not. Depends on what time I get back Sunday. It could be late, depending on how we do Sunday in the championship round of the Sevens tournament in Atlanta. It's arguably the biggest tournament of the year, and I really, really am looking forward to it. Going to be talent from across the country in Atlanta. But thank you very much for checking out Locked On Seminoles. We will see you again